All right. So we're going to play the clip. Then I'm going to go over and give you my analysis of what just happened. So check it out. All right. All right. So there's a block shot. Nothing too alarming, right? Nothing about it seems too odd. There are things about it that seem odd to me, which is what I'm going to break down. But let's look at the man's name. All right, his name is Bouknight, right? So now let's go look at Bouknight in the attribute section, right? Let's see what his ratings look like. Right now, he just blocked a shot. That is Bouknight, James Bouknight, however you pronounce his name. Look at his attribute. Look at his block rating. Do you see that? What does that say? That's a 32 block rating. All right, you see that, right? He's a 6'4" shooting guard with a 32 block rating. And he just blocked my shot, right? With a 32 block rating, and he's 6'4", and my guy Wiseman is 7 feet tall. All right, now let's go back over the clip again and look at it. Here's what I wanted to talk about. Pay attention to Wiseman when he goes up to block the shot. Do you see what he has to do? Do you see what he has to do? He has to fully bend his knees, right? And he's 7 feet tall. He's 7 feet tall, and he has to fully bend his knee to get up there. Meanwhile, the guy that blocks his shot, he really he doesn't bend his knee at all. The bending that you see on his knee is just from him, that's just his natural positioning. He didn't bend his knee at all, really. He was just allowed to elevate completely off the ground at 6'4" with a 32 block and get over the top of Wiseman, who had to fully go into his vertical dunk stance to bend his knees and all. He is allowed to legit basically just elevate completely off of the ground. He really just levitated. He was really just allowed to levitate and get up there and block the ball because what? The algorithm understood I had an easy, wide open pick and roll available. But the desperation that the algorithm had was to block the shot. It was something that the algorithm had already automatically computed that it was going to happen, that the shot was going to get blocked. All right, but you know, so it didn't have any other option other than to just automatically put the man in the position to block the shot. When you look at it, play it all the way through again, you can just look at how generic it looks. It's like the man didn't go through any motions or anything like that. He just automatically lifted up and blocked the shot. Because what? This is why a computer always has the advantage, because they're allowed to skip steps. All right, the things that we have to do, we have to go through every motion in order to get something done. Computers are allowed to skip steps. All right, this is why they're allowed to keep up with you so well on defense, because they don't have to run around the court. They could just levitate and float and slide into position while moving their feet, appearing to have been running, but they're not really running. They're just levitating across the court a lot of times. All right. They could just wind up where you are, just sliding over there. You have to run there. They just slide over there. And what I mean when I say they're moving their feet, but they're not really running, is this. When you run, you move according to your feet, your footsteps. All right. So you're stopping every time you plant a foot. You have to run according to what your feet are doing. Computer, when their feet is moving, they're not moving according to what their foot positioning. They're just sliding while moving their feet. Is to give off the illusion, to give off the impression that they're running when they're not really running. They're just sliding wherever you are. That's why they're allowed to keep up with you so well on defense, especially if you pay attention to when you're running around off the ball, you're trying to get cuts to the basket, you're trying to run and get an open pass somewhere. Pay attention to computer's feet. All right, they're allowed to constantly bump you and rail you, knock you off your route, and cut you off, stay in front of you, because they're allowed to just slide everywhere they need to be to get where you are, or to stop you, prevent you from doing whatever you're trying to do. All right, so they're allowed to skip the steps that we have to take according to the laws of physics to get where we need to be in order to do what we need to do. That's why James Wiseman, he has to, before he dunks or lays up, he has to bend his knees completely. Computer just jumps. They get to skip those steps, and it puts them ahead of you all the time. All right? They're always allowed to skip these steps, these steps that are necessary to do whatever you're trying to do. They just get to do it. You gotta look at the court, get the ball in your hand, bend your knee, then jump. Computer sees you going for a dunk, they just jump. They don't bend a knee or nothing. They just come from wherever they are off the ground, block your shot. All right, if you're somewhere far away from them and you're going for a layup, they levitate where you are, jump, block your shot. They get to skip these steps all the time. Right? But anyway, peace.